How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to give you my thoughts and compare the iPhone 12 against the Pixel 5. Is it worth paying an extra $100 to get the iPhone, or is the Pixel is already good enough? For hardware, I am a fan of the matte finish look, so it's a no-brainer that I'm going to pick the Pixel 5. I just like the look and feel on the Pixel. Now on the iPhone, it does have that typical glass back. It's very glossy and it does collect all the fingerprints, so I would say it's pretty high maintenance to keep on cleaning it all the time. For button placement, I am a fan of the Pixel just because everything is on one side and naturally it just fits in my hands. And on iPhone, they're both on each side, so sometimes you can get confused. Now for the size of the phones, I would say the Pixel is easier or more comfortable to hold just because it's smaller. On a Pixel, it does have a very solid fingerprint sensor right on the back of the phone, very natural spot to put at. And on iPhone, it does have one of the best face unlock that I've ever used on any phone. The face unlock works very well late at night and is one of the most consistent ones. A lot of other Android phones fail at this moment. In super dark areas, the iPhone always works, or is the most consistent out of all the phones I've used. On a lot of Android phones, they would most likely fail. Now for performance, it's a no-brainer that the iPhone 12 is the better performer. That's just facts. But for under normal and everyday use, I don't feel like the Pixel is faster or the iPhone is faster. They're both smooth when I'm going through Instagram, scrolling around, taking pictures, or watching videos. I honestly don't feel the difference between both of the phones. Now, if you know you love playing games and just like using a lot of those heavy apps every single day, or even a heavy smartphone user, then of course it's smarter to buy the iPhone 12 because it does have the better and stronger chip. Now for battery life, I would say both of these phones are super great. They last me all day long. Now I am a casual user, so I'm not really on my phone every single day or all the time. So easily I can get a day and a half with this. If I'm really on the phone the entire day, then I'm pretty sure it can last me throughout the day. Now from my experience, iPhones always have good standby time, and actually the Pixel 5 does really good as well. I noticed that if I turned off the smooth display to 60 Hz, and also if I turn off always on display, it always just stays at 100%, even though I left it at 100% the night before. So standby time on both phones, surprisingly on the Pixel, it's really good. Now for the software, this one is pretty easy. If you like using iOS, then of course you're gonna pick the iPhone. If you like using Android, you're gonna pick the Pixel. So it wouldn't really matter there, it's all personal preference. But at the end of the day, if you do have all your apps installed on either phone, it's gonna work fine, it's gonna work exactly the same. But for me, I would say like, the Pixel is it does have a bit more freedom, especially during the home screen with the grid system where you can put your apps anywhere you want. But on the iPhone, it's pretty much locked. Now lately, the iPhone does have more flexibility and is a bit more Android-like nowadays, but it's still not the full Android experience. Moving on to cameras for the front-facing portrait mode, I gotta say the Pixel just flat out wins. I do like the colors, it's way more contrastier so it really sticks out, but on the iPhone 12, it really looked faded and flat. And for the overall portrait mode experience, still I would go with the Pixel 5 just because it's super easy to use. You just point, press the shutter button, and it does all the work for you. On the iPhone, you would have to move around until it recognizes the object, then you can press the shutter button. For night portrait mode, I gotta say Pixel 5 really changed the game here. You actually has auto night mode for you, so it looks much better, much more clear. On the iPhone, it's very dark, it's not that clean, and very noisy. And that also goes the same with objects, not just human faces. And if it's too dark out, obviously the iPhone will not recognize and it will tell you that you would need more light. On the Pixel, it doesn't matter. Now for the back cameras, for the ultra wide and regular wide, both of them are really good for everyday cases. From the pictures I've seen, the only big difference here is the white balance. I would say the Google software tries to make everything looks more neutral and natural, whereas on the iPhone, sometimes it could be a bit too green and sometimes a bit too blue. Now if you really want the widest lens, then the ultra wide lens on the iPhone is wider than the Pixel. Now for low light, I would say the iPhone 12 comes out cleaner. For the Pixel, it's really noisy and using a lot more artifacts. But when you use night mode, it does clean up the image a lot and it doesn't look too bad. Sometimes it looks even brighter than the iPhone 12. Now for video in 4K 30, the stabilization are good on both phones. I would say with HDR or the exposure in general, the Pixel 5 is darker. And that also goes towards with the ultra wide angle lens. Also, as you can tell, the wider lens is still on the iPhone 12 in video. Now the Pixel can shoot up to 4K 60, but you cannot use the ultra wide angle lens, but you can on the iPhone 12. I would say the stabilization on the Pixel 5 is jerky and is trying to catch up to my movements as I'm panning. Now for low light, I would not recommend using the ultra wide because it just doesn't capture enough light to get a good image. Now, using the main camera lens is gonna be better, but of course it's not gonna give you the best results in low light. The biggest difference here to me is the white balance. On the Pixel, it's really aggressive and it's trying to cool everything down, whereas on the iPhone 12, it's more natural to the eye, and that's what's closer to what I see. Now in the end, in my opinion, I think both phones are great phones. I think if you want the longer lasting phone, I would go for the Apple, pay the extra $100 because it's a long-term investment. You do get good quality phones, and knowing Apple, most likely they would support their phones for like 5 years. But if you do like using Android and you want something super simple and easy to use, Pixel, I think Pixel is just the way to go. So those are my thoughts on the Pixel 5 and the iPhone 12. You can follow me on Instagram, and please subscribe and like if you haven't yet. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.